Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. You've been wondering why people who said they loved you couldn't stay. Why those you gave your all to ended up betraying you. Why your heart has known so much pain when all you ever wanted was to love purely. But hear this, not everyone who loves you is assigned to you. Some people were sent to teach you lessons, not to walk with you into destiny. Some were meant to shape your character, not to share your crown. God knew that in order to elevate you, He had to separate you. You didn't lose them by chance. You were released from what could have delayed your purpose. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Because this message isn't just content. It's a divine confirmation for the chosen ones, and a heartfelt thank you to everyone supporting through super thanks. God bless you richly. Your love, your presence, and your faith never go unnoticed. Chosen one, if your spirit feels this message already, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a sacred signal that you're ready to release what wasn't meant for you and step into divine alignment. This word isn't about heartbreak. It's about higher purpose. It's about why some people couldn't love you right, and why God had to separate you to elevate you. Not everyone will make it to the end. Only the truly chosen will. Because those who stay will receive revelation, healing, and peace. This isn't just another video. It's a spiritual awakening. Watch it again whenever your heart feels led, because each time a deeper truth will rise within you. You didn't lose love, chosen one. You were redirected to destiny. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. They were part of your story, not your destiny. Chosen one, understand this truth. Some people are only meant to be a chapter, not the whole book. You kept trying to make temporary people permanent fixtures in your life because of the purity of your heart. You saw their pain and tried to heal it. You saw their potential and tried to pull it out. You loved them past their wounds, hoping they would meet you at your depth. But some people were never meant to go where your soul is headed. They came into your life for a divine reason, but not for a lifetime. God saw what you couldn't see. He saw the intentions behind their smiles, the envy behind their admiration, and the resistance behind their affection. You thought you were helping them grow, but in truth, they were sent to reveal something about yourself. They showed you how much you overgive. They showed you how often you ignore red flags in the name of loyalty. They showed you how your heart can love blindly, even when your spirit is warning you to let go. You kept praying for them to understand you, for them to finally get it, for them to treat you the way you loved them. But no matter how much effort you poured in, something kept missing. The conversations grew heavy. The connection felt forced. Their energy shifted every time your light shined a little brighter. That wasn't by accident. It was spiritual misalignment. You were walking toward purpose, while they were still wrestling with the past. God had to allow distance because your destiny demanded clarity. He saw that if they stayed any longer, they would contaminate your focus. They weren't evil, but they weren't equipped. They didn't have the capacity to support what God was birthing through you. And had you continued to hold on, they would have anchored you to a place you were never meant to remain. Chosen one. You have to understand, divine separation always feels like punishment before it feels like protection. When God removes someone, it's rarely comfortable. It breaks something inside of you, but it also frees something greater. You may have cried yourself to sleep, wondering why it ended the way it did, but heaven knows why it had to. The same people who once held your hand could not handle your anointing. Your elevation would have exposed their insecurities. Your growth would have highlighted their stagnation. They were part of your training ground, a necessary season, not a permanent foundation. God used them to teach you discernment. He used their betrayal to toughen your spirit. He used their absence to strengthen your independence. Because the version of you that's walking into destiny needed stronger boundaries, sharper instincts, and a deeper connection with God. And that only comes through separation. So don't look back wishing things stayed the same. You're not who you used to be, and they're not meant to see who you're becoming. Your story with them served its purpose. It awakened something divine inside you. And though their chapter is closed, their impact was not in vain. Every goodbye pushed you closer to your true self. Every heartbreak purified your heart for a higher form of love. Every loss prepared you for the alignment that's on the way. Chosen one, stop trying to reopen doors God already sealed. Some people's roles in your life were only to help you get from one level to the next. Chapter 2. Your spirit outgrew their love. You started to notice it, didn't you, chosen one? Conversations that used to feel alive started to lose their spark. The laughter that once flowed easily now felt forced. You would sit in the same room, but your souls were no longer in the same place. Their energy felt different. Their words felt empty. The connection that once felt divine began to fade, not because of hatred, but because your spirit had outgrown their frequency. You were evolving while they were staying the same. You were walking in truth while they were comfortable in illusion. You were seeking meaning while they were chasing distraction. And when you started to crave silence, they mistook it for distance. When you started setting boundaries, they called it pride. They didn't understand that what was happening inside you wasn't rebellion. It was transformation. Your purpose began to demand a different kind of love, one rooted in spirit, not emotion. In truth, not convenience. You no longer desired people who only loved your smile but ignored your pain. You no longer wanted shallow validation. You wanted soul connection. And when that shift happened, your energy began to convict them. Your peace exposed their chaos. Your discipline revealed their complacency. Your growth reminded them of their comfort zones. God allowed the disconnection because He didn't want your spirit to die in a place that couldn't water you. You see, chosen one, when you start to grow spiritually, your energy changes. What used to attract you now drains you. What used to excite you now feels meaningless. You begin to see through the surface. You start to feel who's real and who's just pretending, and that's why they started to pull away. Your light was too loud for their shadows. They couldn't love you right because they didn't understand your depth. They loved what you gave, but not what you carried. They were comfortable with the old version of you, the one who tolerated inconsistency, the one who poured without being poured into, the one who accepted almost love and called it connection. But when your spirit awakened, you stopped settling for survival love. You started seeking divine love, the kind that speaks to your soul and not just your senses. They saw your body but not your spirit. They admired your strength but never understood your struggles. They liked your potential but not your process. They wanted your presence but not your purpose. And when you began to align with God's will, they couldn't recognize you anymore. You were no longer feeding the same patterns, entertaining the same conversations, or chasing the same validation. They mistook your evolution for arrogance, but it was really elevation. Chosen one, understand this. When your spirit rises, your circle shrinks. God will not let everyone remain connected to you, because not every soul is meant to breathe your new air. Some people loved you at one level, but your next level would expose their intentions. Your light will either inspire or irritate them, and both are forms of revelation. You were never too much for them. They were just too limited to hold what you carried. You needed more than surface affection. You needed someone who could pray with you, not just play with you. Someone who could see your wounds and still stay. Chapter 3. Their assignment in your life had an expiration date. Chosen one, everyone who enters your life is either a lesson or a blessing, and both are divine. Some people come to love you, others come to test you, and a few come to teach you something that will shape the rest of your destiny. But here's the truth you must face. Not everyone who started with you is meant to stay with you. Some people's time in your life expired long before you stopped giving them chances. You kept holding on to connections that God was trying to close. You prayed for relationships that heaven already called finished. You tried to resurrect what God buried, and you wondered why it no longer felt alive. You saw the potential in them, but God saw the limitation. You wanted to build a forever, but God said this was only for a season. They were never meant to last. They were meant to teach. And yet, because of your heart, you kept trying. You kept explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You kept showing love to those who couldn't receive it. You believed that if you loved harder, they would finally see your worth. But every time you tried to fix what was fading, you only ended up breaking yourself. God had to let it crumble so you could stop confusing attachment for purpose. You thought you were losing love, but you were actually being protected from delay. They were no longer aligned with your next level. Their energy didn't match your calling. Their mindset couldn't support your mission. And though it hurt, heaven knew that keeping them in your story would slow your destiny. Some people can't go with you, not because they're bad, but because they've already fulfilled their role. Their assignment in your life had an expiration date. And when that date arrived, no amount of prayer, loyalty, or effort could extend it. Chosen one, understand this. divine endings are often disguised as heartbreak. The pain they caused was not punishment, it was preparation. You had to learn how to stop loving people who were never meant to understand you. You had to learn how to stop begging for what was blocking your blessings. You had to learn how to let go without resentment and move forward without needing closure. God doesn't want you stuck explaining why you deserve better. He wants you walking in it. Every person who leaves takes a piece of the old you with them. The one who lied taught you discernment. The one who betrayed you taught you boundaries. The one who ignored your value taught you to never discount your worth again. Every heartbreak had a holy purpose. It wasn't just about losing them. It was about finding yourself. You see, when God assigns someone to your life, they come with peace, not confusion. They come to build, not drain. But when someone's time is up, the connection begins to feel heavy. The communication feels forced and your spirit feels uneasy. That's God's way of signaling, this chapter is over. Stop trying to rewrite endings that heaven already sealed. Don't chase what God removed to protect you. You can't move into your future while dragging expired attachments. The reason your peace increased after they left is because your spirit finally had room to breathe again. Chosen one, hear this clearly. When their assignment is complete, their presence becomes a burden. Chapter 4. God needed to clear space for real love. Chosen one, sometimes God has to break your heart to open it for the right one. You asked him, why did they leave? Why did they hurt me after I gave so much? But God's answer wasn't rejection, it was redirection. He wasn't punishing you, he was protecting you. He knew that if those people stayed, they would block the blessing he's preparing. Sometimes what feels like heartbreak is really God cleaning out the counterfeit to make room for the covenant. You kept asking why he allowed the wrong ones in, but he didn't. You did. You saw their potential and mistook it for purpose. You confused chemistry for confirmation. You tried to make it work even when your spirit whispered, this isn't it. But because your heart is genuine, you believed you could love them into alignment. And when they failed to match your depth, it broke something inside you. Yet even that breaking was divine, because God used it to teach you the difference between soul connection and spiritual distraction. Chosen one, you can't receive kingdom love while holding on to counterfeit connections. You can't embrace what's divine while your arms are still wrapped around what's familiar. The wrong people had to fall away, not because they were all bad, but because they couldn't carry what comes next. Their love had limits, but your purpose doesn't. God had to remove those who loved you for convenience so he could send the one who will love you for covenant. Someone who won't just stand beside you, but pray behind you. You may not see it now, but every goodbye was really God whispering, I have better. Every heartbreak was heaven's construction zone, clearing away emotional clutter so that true love could enter without obstruction. Every person who left made room for someone who will see you the way God sees you. With reverence, patience, and understanding, they will love you not because of what you do, but because of who you are in spirit. This new love, chosen one, will not drain you. It will heal you. It won't compete with your calling. It will complement it. This person will understand your silence, respect your solitude, and honor your connection to God. They won't pull you away from purpose. They'll push you deeper into it. You'll finally experience what it means to be loved in alignment. Love that feels peaceful, not painful. Consistent, not confusing. Sacred, not situational. But before God sends that person, he needs you whole. He can't give you a kingdom partner while you're still grieving a counterfeit connection. He needs you to stop replaying the pain, stop reopening old wounds, and start preparing your spirit for new beginnings. The one he's sending won't fix your brokenness. They'll recognize your healing. They'll meet you on the same frequency of faith. So when God separates you from someone, don't chase. When he closes a door, don't knock. Trust that what's gone was never meant to stay. He's not subtracting from you. He's making space. You see, divine love doesn't compete with your purpose. It completes your peace. It doesn't come to fill a void. It comes to multiply your destiny. Chapter 5. Your value was too high for their capacity. Chosen one, some people simply couldn't love you right because they didn't have the capacity to love at your level. You love deeply, truthfully, and loyally, but not everyone is built like that. You give from your soul while they gave from their ego. You saw connection. They saw control. You offered understanding. They offered convenience. They couldn't love you right because they were still trying to figure out how to love themselves. You were trying to build a bond from a healed place, while they were loving from their wounds. Don't take their inability personally. Not everyone can handle a heart as pure, patient, and powerful as yours. Your love is sacred. It demands depth, consistency, and truth. But they were shallow, inconsistent, and afraid of realness. You were ready to pour. They were only ready to take. You were praying over them while they were playing with your emotions. You were fighting for connection while they were entertaining distraction. You wanted something divine, but they were satisfied with something temporary. Chosen one, your spirit operates on a higher frequency, one that exposes what's fake, one that shines light on what's hidden. And because of that, some people couldn't stand next to you for long. Your authenticity convicted their pretending. Your kindness reminded them of what they refused to become. Your love made them see how broken their definition of love really was. So instead of rising to meet you, they tried to pull you down to meet them. But here's the truth. You were never the problem. You were the mirror. You reflected the kind of love, loyalty, and light they wish they could give. You showed them what genuine connection feels like, and that frightened them. Because when people aren't ready to grow, they'll resent what reminds them of growth. When people aren't healed, they'll run from what feels healthy. And when people don't know their worth, they'll mishandle what's valuable. You were never too much, chosen one. You were just placed in the presence of people who weren't enough for your destiny. And that's not arrogance, that's awareness. You were meant to teach them what real love looks like, not to stay and suffer in their inability to return it. Your love was a lesson. They weren't ready to learn. So stop questioning your worth because they couldn't recognize it. Stop wondering what you did wrong. You didn't fail them. You simply outgrew them. You were designed for a higher kind of connection, one that can match your frequency, honor your purpose, and handle your heart with care. Let this truth settle in your spirit. They couldn't love you right because they weren't equipped to. You were built for kingdom love, the kind that uplifts, protects, and unites in purpose. And God is not going to let you waste that kind of love on someone who doesn't even know how to hold it. He will send you someone who sees your worth without you having to prove it. Someone who values your presence without taking it for granted. Someone who will match your energy, not drain it. You are the kind of love that transforms, the kind of soul that awakens others. Never lower your value just to fit into someone's comfort zone. Chapter 6. Their rejection was your revelation. Chosen one. When they couldn't love you right, it revealed something powerful. You were chosen to love differently. Their rejection wasn't a curse, it was a compass. It pointed you back to yourself, back to God, and back to the truth about who you really are. The pain they caused didn't destroy you. It refined you. It stripped away your illusions about love, loyalty, and people. You discovered strength in solitude, peace in distance, and purpose in heartbreak. What looked like the end was actually the unveiling of your true beginning. Every person who walked away left behind a lesson that became part of your awakening. You learned that not every connection is meant to continue, and not every heart can handle your energy. You realized that sometimes God hides your worth in seasons of rejection, not to break you, but to protect you. Because if certain people had accepted you, they would have misused you. If they had loved you, they would have limited you. If they had stayed, they would have delayed what God was trying to release in your life. Chosen one, what you thought was rejection was really revelation, a mirror reflecting who was for you and who was only near you. There's a difference between people who love your light and those who just want to stand close to it. The ones who truly love you will see beyond your flaws and past your past. But those who were never assigned to your destiny will get uncomfortable when your growth outshines their stagnation. Their withdrawal was necessary for your awakening. Their absence created space for your alignment. God used rejection as a divine filter. Every no, every betrayal, every goodbye was heaven saying, "Not this one, not them, not now." It hurt, but it helped you see clearly. You began to discern between connection and convenience, between attention and affection, between soul ties and divine ties. You started valuing peace over popularity, purpose over pleasure, and alignment over attachment. Chosen one, you are not the same person who once begged to be understood. You now know that true love doesn't require you to shrink or prove your worth. It meets you where you are and grows with you where God is taking you. You no longer chase validation, you walk in revelation. You no longer cling to what's leaving. You trust what's meant for you to stay. That's growth. That's power. That's divine maturity. The heartbreaks were holy lessons. They built your discernment. They opened your eyes to see who was pretending and who was purposed. They made you sensitive to energy, wise in spirit and unshakable in faith. You learned that not everyone who says "I love you" means it, and not everyone who leaves you has lost you. Sometimes their departure is proof of your destiny unfolding. ChosenOne, their rejection revealed your redirection. It showed you what can't go with you, what no longer fits, and who wasn't built for the promise on your life. Now you stand stronger, wiser, and more aware. You've learned to bless those who walked away, because without knowing it, they pushed you into your purpose. Chapter 7. God is preparing a love that matches your calling. ChosenOne, your story isn't over. It's just being rewritten by divine hands. The author of your destiny never leaves a sentence unfinished. Every heartbreak, every lonely night, every unanswered prayer was part of the plot that leads to divine love. God saw the tears you cried in silence when you wondered if you'd ever be loved the way you love. He heard the questions in your heart. Why do I give so much and receive so little? And even when you didn't understand it, He was working behind the scenes, preparing a love that mirrors your purpose. You see, ChosenOne, the love that's coming isn't ordinary, it's ordained. It's not the kind that drains your spirit. It's the kind that revives it. This love won't make you question your worth. It will remind you of it. It will feel like home, not because it's familiar, but because it's finally safe. It will not compete with your calling, but complete your mission. The one God is preparing for you will not be intimidated by your light. They will protect it. They will speak life into your dreams, cover you in prayer, and walk with you in purpose. This love won't come wrapped in confusion. It won't feel like you're fighting to be understood or forcing someone to see your value. It will flow naturally, peacefully, and divinely. It will be two souls walking in alignment. Not lust, not ego, not manipulation, but mutual respect, spiritual connection, and divine timing. The one God is sending will love you beyond appearance and beyond circumstance. They'll love the God in you, but before that love can arrive, there's preparation. God is using this season to refine your heart, to heal old wounds, and to remove the residue of past pain. You can't receive kingdom love with a heart still bleeding from counterfeit ones. So He's teaching you how to rest in His love first, because the one He sends will only be able to meet you at the level you've healed. He's rebuilding your confidence, reintroducing you to your worth, and teaching you the kind of love that starts within. ChosenOne, your loneliness wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God isolated you not to break you, but to bless you. You had to learn how to be whole on your own, so you'd never again settle for someone who only fills your emptiness. He's preparing you for a partner who will see your spirit before your surface, who will nurture your calling, and who will walk beside you in divine purpose. Together you'll build something that glorifies God, not just a relationship, but a legacy. So don't rush this season. Don't chase love, attracted by becoming love. Keep growing, healing, and trusting that God knows exactly what your heart needs. When the time is right, the right one will appear, not to complete you, but to complement the masterpiece you already are, ChosenOne. Remember this. They couldn't love you right because they weren't assigned to your destiny. What was meant to leave had to go, and what's meant for you will always find you. Every ending was making room for your divine beginning. Trust the timing, because when God writes the love story, there are no delays, only divine appointments.